Now on YouTube, welcome to the Metal by Brian YouTube channel. Bit of a name change recently. I've had a bit of a career change. I'm actually teaching now, rather than actually doing the fabrication world. I was offered a job teaching, so hence why I've gone with the Metal by Brian YouTube name. Sorry, first things first is I've got to apologise for my voice. I've got a bit of a sore throat because I'm 26 now, and it was my birthday celebrations on Saturday night, and singing songs and talking to people and whatnot, you get a bit hoarse. I got myself a beverage here for soothing it a little bit. Anyway, this video is about gas regulators. Chaps over at Truflame Welding Equipment have sent me a gas regulator to do a review on, and I figured I'd show you at the same time while I was doing it. I'll show you how to connect it up to the gas cylinder and all that stuff. So it's a bit of a beginner's video, really. So this is the came pretty well packaged actually. They've sent me some grinding discs as well. Maybe they're trying to tell me something about my welds, and some high-low MIG gloves. So I'll probably do a review on Facebook and Instagram of those. To be honest, can't really do much of a video about gloves. I might comment on them as well in a future video, see what that's like, and some leak detection fluid, which we will be using in this video. So the regulators are they're like black magic to me. I don't really fully understand how they work. But basically, you've got in the bottom you've got like a tapered seat needle valve, which has a spring pushing it up into the tapered seat, and then you've got a rod that comes off the top of the needle onto a diaphragm, and then above the diaphragm you've got a bigger spring, and then you've got your knob that you tighten up or loosen off to set your flow and regulate your gas. And as the pressures get to the correct pressures for the flow, the two springs start counteracting each other, and that's what regulates the flow of the gas. So it's a bit over my head, really, but I understand the basic principle. The science, when you get into it, I'm sure is incredibly complicated. So the packaging, first of all, isn't too bad at all. It's pretty good. Came with lots of brown paper, and then we open the box up. We've got operating instructions. They're also made in the UK. The high-low flow gauges, which is I like it when things are made in the UK. So it's a 2-gauge flow meter. The first one on the left-hand side is how full your bottle is, and the second one is what your flow will be. This actually shows litres a minute and cubic feet an hour, which is nice. Personally, I always just go with litres per minute, but it's always nice when you talk to somebody who does a lot of a certain kind of welding, and you ring them up, and if they say cubic feet per hour, you can just set it to what's on the gauge rather than having to work out what it is in litres per minute. So yeah, in here you got a tapered seat valve, diaphragm, and then this knob on the top. It's a T-nut. I quite like that, actually, I will say. Conventional regulators, let me see if I've got one lying around. I do. Most regulators have a knob like this, which it does the job, but this is, plenty of meat to grab hold of it and wind it down, and yeah, feels good. It's all brass, which I've never really come across a regulator yet that isn't, but it's nice, heavy. Might as well get on to how to fit it. This bottle I don't know if you can see on the video. I've had it lying around for ages now. I change my bottles out depending on what I'm welding and whatnot. So because it's being open to the atmosphere, just check inside, see if there's any heavies. I give it a quick blow like that, and then just open the tap on the top. You only need to open it a crack. You don't want to open it too far. And that's all it takes. Let's clean that out now. You can get to regulators where this is a side port, so you could get a regulator so that this thread's on and your dials are all facing the right way. I've never bothered, I just deal with the standard regulator. If this was a CO2 regulator, this would be a female seat, but because it's an argon, it's just a male seat. And if it was something like a propane or an acetylene regulator, it would have the notches in the nut, have some notches, and that indicates that it's a left-handed thread for a fuel gas. Okay, so do not go mad with how much you tighten a regulator up. It's a tapered seat, it's precisely machined, so you literally get your spanner on it. In fact, I'll put it this way for you. Get your spanner on it, just nip it up. I mean, you only need your thumb on it, you don't need to be grabbing hold of the spanner or anything like that, just tweak it up like that. And that's all it takes. There really isn't any need to over tighten it. All you'll do if you over tighten it, you'll damage the seat face, and then it won't seal properly in future again. You'll have to get a new regulator or a new fitting. I always use a flow meter, even on MIG. You get a lot of people saying you don't need to on MIG. You will save a lot of gas, especially, I mean, I think you'd be mad not to do it with TIG welding, but on MIG I use a flow meter. For the cost of them, it's just madness not to do it, really. So just wind it on. Again, tapered seat, you don't need to go mad with it. That'll be absolutely perfect. And I'm just going to use my TIG torch off my Pico 162. It's only a valve torch, just means I don't have to drag the welder out and everything like that. Again, tapered seat, wind it in the bottom. Just there, that's all it needs. Alright, so this would be your TIG torch. That's all the way backed off. That valve's closed. If we open the bottle now, I open argon bottles. In fact, as long as it's not a fuel gas, I always open every gas cylinder. I always open them all the way. They have what's called a back seat on the valve, and if you don't open it all the way, the gas can actually leak around the valve. So I always open it all the way, except when it's a fuel gas, in which case just one turn. You don't want to go any more than one turn. Now, with these, for beginners often get a bit confused because you actually turn it the opposite way from what you'd expect. You'd expect to increase the flow, you'd turn it anti-clockwise, and to reduce the flow, you'd turn it off like a tap. It's not, it's the opposite way around. So yeah, that's fine. Looks like a charm. Right, I'll just show you this. Okay. So this is our, let's see if I can get in the right light. That's our level. That was full. That, depending on what kind of bottle you've got, that'd probably be near 3,000. Obviously, it's quite low at the moment. And then this is the flow meter. So as soon as I open this, and then my flow meter, when I operate the trigger, that'll go up. In fact, it should go up now, being diaphragm. Yeah. So that, in theory, should be 10 litres a minute. It's not always the case. They're not generally very accurate, those. So I then open that as well, and I've got the knob open on my torch at the moment. So there you go. You then tweak that to where the ball is on the 10, and that's 10 litres a minute. Alright, so this is all the way open now, or shut, whichever way you want to look at it. So we crank this down, and for something like if I was operating something like a number 7 cup, I'd probably get away with 10 litres a minute. But if I was in my own shop and I was only just messing around and doing light tasks, I'd drop that right down to 7. I've done it before. It's never caused any issues. So if you're buying your own gas and you're not doing anything that's particularly vital, then I'd always just run at 7. Saves you a lot in money. And then open this at the moment, because I've got my flow meter shut, nothing coming out. So I tweak the blue dial, and that's at 10 litres a minute. Turn it off, and then when I open this back up, 10 litres a minute. And that's as simple as that. Ironically, what I was saying earlier on about how I use litres a minute, when I check my bottle level, I actually work in PSI, so there you go. Metric and imperial, that's the UK for you. But back to the regulator. I think it's quite a nice thing. Like I say, I really like this the T-nut idea. It's not like when you get the ones that have the steel T-nuts where you can lose the T-nut. It's actually fixed on there, but you can get a good grip on it and yeah, not have to have your full palm available. It shows litres a minute and cubic feet per hour, and it shows bar and PSI. Again, that's a nice thing as well. It feels good quality. I mean, there's not a lot more you can say really, but I don't know how much they are. You'd have to go on the website to find out how much they are. But it's a nice thing, yeah. It seems all right. I'll let you know on any future videos as well. In a future video after a while of using it. What a lot of people don't realise about regulators, by the way, is when you open this. I'll just open that up. When you open this, like this, it's putting tension on the diaphragm spring. I mean, what a lot of people don't realise is if you leave this open for a long period of time, it actually weakens that spring, and it affects the effectiveness of the regulator, basically. So, in theory, at the end of the day, you should come up to your regulator and wind that back off. Open your valve so there's no pressure in the regulator. Ask me how often I do that. I don't actually do it particularly often, if I'm being honest. It is a good practice to get into though, is to slacken your regulator off. Make sure there's no tension on that spring. I do it every now and then, but most of the time, end of the day, turn the gas bottle off and that's it. Sweep up, do the usual, but I don't really bother with the regulator. That's that. Seems like a good piece of equipment. I'll put a link in the description for the website. Forgot to use the leak detection fluid. Right. So you open your bottle all the way. Open the bottle. Wind the T-nut down. Somewhere around 10 litres a minute. we get this leak detection fluid, which Truflame have sent me. Squirt it on. I mean, I'll even do it on the gauge, seeing as it's a new piece of equipment. Are we just looking for bubbles rising up? Any bubbles in there? We know we need to look into it. And happily, that's as dry as a bone. No bubbles whatsoever. Spot on. Very nice. Lovely. Alright, tighten this bottle up. End of the day, wind your regulator off. Wind your regulator off. And then, theoretically, you should do that as well. Open all your valves. Right. I'll do an Instagram review on the gloves and on the grinding discs. And that's us. Thanks for watching. High-low regulator. Very nice. Cheers.